with another video.
Yeah, first one was a bust today.
Yeah. So we came down here. Let's see if I can show you. To this new public lake. We were going to try and fish here. We had heard it's pretty good. Kind of iffy, mostly for catfish and carp.
Yep.
Which I really just don't care that much about. Mainly because I'm not a big fish eating person. So I like to catch bass because I'm not gonna eat them. But I saw a video the other night, and it was on Bass University. I don't know if you guys are into that thing or not, but I find that sometimes you can find some really helpful stuff on there. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, check it out.
Good stuff.
Yeah, a lot of pros giving their opinions on stuff, and kind of like what we do here, we give our opinions on stuff.
Indeed.
I don't always agree with what they necessarily say on there, but you know, a lot of times I do, and I take it and I try it out and see if it works. But I saw a video on there the other night. Pete Glusick sat down with a guy from Berkeley. He was a designer from Berkeley. He was a pretty big guy there at their labs, and they were talking about MaxScent and how much or why MaxScent is important when it comes to fishing. You know, as a Berkeley guy, so he's hyping up Berkeley Powerbait MaxScent. But it got me thinking, how important is scent on your soft plastics when you're bass fishing? Now, we just did a video not too long ago about does color matter? So kind of made sense to do, does scent matter?
If you haven't seen that video already, check the card up here over there and go watch it. There's a quality conversation to be had there in that one.
Indeed. And you know, this is kind of one of our bass theories. The thing about color, the thing about scent is there's not actually a lot of studies done, so you don't really know.
Yeah.
It's all about opinion, and we're here to share our opinion on it. So think about it like this: everybody has a scent. You got Berkeley Powerbait, MaxScent too.
Gambler's Scent.
Big Bite Baits uses a lot of anise.
Strike King's Coffee Scent.
Something like these 6 Sense Divine Swim Baits don't seem to have any scent to me.
Same with a lot of 10,000 Fish stuff,
Yeah,
like the Sakoshi bugs.
Yeah,
They
to
really
me this
aren't
just
scented.
smells like a pool liner. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that kind of plastic smell.
Yeah, indeed. But so we're going to talk about it like this. And again, let me preface this with saying it's kind of all opinion.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of studies. But one thing that the guy from Berkeley was talking about was their labs. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Berkeley is at the forefront of all things science relating to fishing, specifically bass fishing, but other types of fishing as well, because Berkeley Powerbait's big and trout fishing, catfishing and stuff with gulp.
Yep.
But Berkeley's all around, so they're really good at doing studies on how scent and flavor affect your fishing. Now, if you look at this package here, Berkeley Powerbait, fish hold on 18 times longer, according to Berkeley. Now, they seem to have done studies on this, and they believe that to be true. I know if you look at a MaxScent pack, a lot of times it says fish hold on like 40% longer. So I don't know how big of a gap 18 times and 40% is. I don't know. But there's some bold claims. So if we look at it, I feel like there's probably two different things. There's scents that intrigue bass, that a bass doesn't really know and is just kind of interested in. And then there's scents that are something a bass would smell and think, oh yeah, that's food.
Attractive.
Yeah, I would say something like that. Yeah, like Berkeley Powerbait. Berkeley Powerbait, shoo, real nasty, fishy,
Yeah.
shrimpy kind of smell.
Yeah.
Like a fish market. I mean, it's
Like some
it's
off crawfish at the buffet.
to me, a bass. Yeah, crawdad too. To me, that seems like something a bass would smell and think, yeah, that's food. because bass fish. They know what fish smells like, I would think.
Yeah.
And then you have stuff like anise. All right, why would a bass know what anise smells like? Anise doesn't grow in the water.
It wouldn't.
And if you guys don't know, anise is what they scent and flavor licorice with.
Yep.
And different mint type deals. I think that's a pretty big kind of difference there. Strike King coffee scent, that would to me be more like an intrigue type deal.
Same with the Gambler's garlic scent.
Yeah.
And this stuff is potent.
Yeah,
I mean,
Gambler, well known for being.
yeah.
Woo!
Like, you walk in and it smells like somebody's been crushing up a lot of garlic.
Right,
cloves.
right.
And it's pretty gnarly. And a fish isn't going to know that's garlic, and it's not going to think it's food, but it's going to make it question what it is and then suck it up and then probably either spit it out, or you set the hook on it and then that's all she wrote.
Right. And you know, companies will call their scents bite juice, fish max, random stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff that really catches the fishermen. They're always saying fish will hold on longer. This will get you more bites. This will get you more strikes. And I got some opinions on that. I think Trey got some opinions on that. We'll just see how it goes.
Yep.
But like I said, I think there's two different kinds of scents. Attractant, more type, and then just different scents that a bass might not know, but be intrigued by and think, all right, is that food? I'm gonna find out.
Yeah.
But one thing that really intrigued me about this study that Berkeley was doing, one of these studies, was what they do is they figure out, all right, we put these fish in a tank, all right, we figure out what scents make their brain waves or whatever spike. All right, now after we figure out what makes their brain waves spike, we see, do they like this smell? Are they going to swim towards it and smack it, or are they going to swim away from it? And Berkeley does these tests, and I'll say I think Berkeley power bait stuff works really well.
It does.
I will say I think you can catch plenty of fish on stuff that doesn't have scent.
Indeed.
I think it's there's probably something about it. I think specifically with stuff like power bait, you get a lot of bites on it. Strike King stuff, you get a lot of bites on it. Whether that's due to action, which I think Strike King has superb action on their baits, or if it's their scent. I really personally like Strike King's coffee scent. It's probably one of my favorite scents.
Yeah.
But that's just because it smells good to me. I don't know if it smells good to a bass.
You know, it really comes down to the whole idea of, like you said earlier, if you're trying to attract them or if you're trying to compel a bite with something that they aren't used to. But when we look at bass, we understand that they're in most cases, visual predators. They don't really typically go off a scent whenever you're fishing for them. They're not a bottom feeder. They're not a catfish that have all the olfactory sensors and the whiskers to actually pick up things like that. They have their lateral line.
Yeah, and that's something that the guy from Berkeley was saying. He actually said, everybody knows the majority of the bass's brain is geared towards sight. It's like 70%, something like that. But he said that the next largest portion was dedicated to smell.
Okay.
So bass apparently do use sense of smell quite a bit. It's just not as powerful as sight, which I think is probably the most important factor. I think if your bait doesn't have a good action, if it doesn't look like something a bass wants to eat, you're probably going to get fewer bites.
Yeah. I mean, just compare catfishing to bass fishing and you'll see the difference. Occasionally you'll catch a catfish on a crankbait, but whenever you catfish, you're most likely using chicken liver, cut bait, something like that. Something really stinky, something that's on the bottom, has absolutely no action, and they'll go for it. Whereas bass, if you do live bait, you're using a live fish that has action and natural smell.
Right.
But then artificial stuff.
Right.
Completely visual there, and then if they have scent, well then that gives you that little extra sauce that you want.
Right, absolutely.
But you can still catch fish with unscented stuff. It's not the end all be all.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I think, just like color, most of it comes down to confidence. If you're catching stuff on Berkley Power Bait, god dang, you're a fan of Berkley Power Bait or Power Bait Max Scent. If you're catching stuff on Strike King, you know who you're buying from. You're buying from Strike King because you're catching bass on it.
Exactly. You want that coffee in your life.
Or a Gambler. If you're a big fan of Gambler, which, woo! I mean, I'm a fan of Gambler,
Yeah.
but man, that's pretty strong stuff there.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the smell myself.
Takes a special person to deal with that smell constantly. And then, you know, if you just fish with what you like, and if it has a scent, it has a scent, and if it doesn't, oh well. More power to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think personally, the main thing you should be focused on is how that bait looks in the water, and if the bass is going to think that looks juicy. Like I said, these Divine Swim baits, they'll catch fish. They don't have a lot of smell to them, at least in my experience. You know, I don't think they have a smell to them.
Same with the Satoshi bugs.
Yeah, absolutely. We caught a lot of fish on
smallmouth, largemouth. Shoot, I've seen videos of people catching trout on them on super light neds and stuff like that. Multi-species, and they smell kind of like a salted pool liner. They kind of got that weird pool plastic smell.
To me, it smelled like a waffle cone.
Yeah, because it's kind of got that little sweet type of thing. It's weird.
But again, to us, it seems like we're in agreement on this. We concur with one another that sight is more important than smell when it comes to bass fishing. You want something that looks good over something that smells good, at least to a bass. But by all means, use what you're confident in. I mean, again, I'm a big fan of Berkley Power Bait stuff. The stuff looks good. I think potentially that scent could have an effect, you know?
Yeah, I'm not gonna, you know, say that the 18 times longer is accurate. They could be blowing smoke, or they could be right. But it is completely plausible to think that if a fish thinks something smells and tastes better, they would hold on to it longer.
Absolutely.
So you could sense the bite and actually get a good hook set.
Right. Yeah, we're definitely not
discounting.
That's what I was going to say. We're definitely not discounting the scent factor. I think it's there. I think it's important. I just don't think it's as important as sight and action of a bait.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
So use something that looks good, and I'm gonna pull one of these out. It's a Crazy Legs Chicker Pro, just to show you. All right, this is something that looks good. It's a good crawdad imitator. It's got these little kicker tail things like curly tail worm down here on it. It's a good creature bait, and it looks good in the water, okay? And bass think it looks good. It's just, it also smells
like the death.
Whew, it's stinky. So,
full on fishmonger.
If you think about the scientists, I mean, Berkley has legitimate labs with legitimate marine biologists who study this stuff. So if they say, which they're a lot smarter than us,
yeah, probably
smarter than you too, I'm gonna guess, if you're watching our videos, that it works. So it very well could, but just in our experience, and I think the majority of everyone else, action is more important than smell.
Yep. Just like fishermen, catch them with the eyes first.
Indeed, indeed. There's several things that is common between bass and people, and that's that we like what we can see what we like until we actually get and fool around with something we don't actually know if we like it, but it looks like we like it, so we're gonna get it.
Yep. And then that's how you end up spending $80 on stuff you don't need.
Absolutely.
Or catching an EWG to the cheek.
But all right, we're gonna wrap up this video. It's gonna be right at about 15 minutes.
Yep.
So I hope you guys learned something. Again, this is all theory, all opinion. Share what you think about scent in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, set it to all notifications. Go check us out on Instagram. We're on there too. If you guys want to DM us or something, we will answer. If you send us a message or a comment, we will reply to you. I promise. I think that's about it.
Yeah.
See you guys later.